Hi, guys. This new moon in Virgo is going to personally impact everybody in a very dramatic way because there are multiple planets involved. There is a kite pattern configuration involved, which is a grand trine and opposition and two sextiles. We call that a kite. So we have lots going on. So I'd like you all to go get your natal chart and see where exactly it's going to impact you for your life, because it may not impact you drastically, like maybe your neighbor, but it will definitely have an effect on you. What you need to do is break it down. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break it down. You can look at the description below that will step by step tell you what we're doing today, because it took hours of research to hash through everything that is involved with this new moon coming up. So I will be going into the chart so you could see it, and I'll highlight everything as we move along. So I've taken all the notes so to keep us on track. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take out your natal chart and you're going to look for Virgo, 19 degrees to 23 degrees Virgo. All right. And Virgo is the earth and mutable sign. Okay. So once you find that sign on your chart, which would be on this chart right here, then you could see exactly what house, what sign is playing in retrospect to this. What is going to be activated? What is going to influence your natal chart? All right. So we have the key players for the new moon, which are 6 key players. The 7th one is Mercury, because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. We must remember that. So there's a lot going on with the new moon. So let's start with the new moon. It is down here. You could see the big arrow here. It's the sun and the moon in 21 degrees Virgo. So when I said look for the between 19 and 23 degrees of Virgo in your natal chart, because we're giving it a 2-degree orb or difference. If it's more than 2 degrees, then you probably won't feel the influence, but you never know. That's why it's a good idea for you guys to work with an astrologer or to do the astrology yourself, okay? Or even a group of you students work together on a particular chart, and because 2 heads are better than 1. This is very tedious work. We're working with these degrees right here, and there's degrees on the cusps where these lines are. There are degrees, so you have to learn how to read the whole chart before you could figure out what it means for you. But generally speaking, this is the sky right at the time of September 14th, 2023, when the new moon is in Virgo. And I also put this little square over here, post it, so you could see that the planets that are involved, most of them are retrograde. And we'll talk about Mercury at the end, because Mercury is retrograde at the moment that I'm making this video, but it's stationing and then moves into direct. Okay, so we'll talk about that a little later on. Take your notebooks out and take some notes. Okay, the key players to this new moon. So what is a new moon? A new moon is when the sun and the moon are together, conjunct. So the precise time here is about 9:23 p.m. September 14th, and that's Eastern Daylight Time in the area of Virginia Beach. Very precise. You got to have local mean time, which I use, and you have to have the location and also the time zone. Okay, so if you're living in a different part of the world, the new moon will not be at this precise time, and it may not be in this exact degree. Okay, so that being said, we have a kite pattern, and you could see there's a formation of the kite with the highlighted light blue and pink lavender area here, this pink area. So a kite is a grand trine, which we have here, and two sextiles and an opposition. So there's a lot going on with that kite pattern. Now remember, this is the sky at that particular moment, September 14th. This is a transit. All right. So this configuration is for everybody. Everybody is being affected by this configuration. So why is this new moon so critically important to understand? Because it's not just the new moon, it's also all these other factors. So if this new moon between 19 and 23 degrees of a earth sign, including Virgo, or a mutable sign is involved in your chart, you're not only going to get hit with the new moon influence, you're going to get hit with this kite pattern. And the Mercury right here, that's retrograde going direct, because we're in the middle of a station, which is the most impactful time of a retrograde, when it's stationing. Think of it like a top moving in one direction, 8 degrees Virgo. Okay, so I jump around a lot because I want you to get the full picture, and I'll keep repeating what's important because I want you to understand a lot of the things I think you understand, and because of the feedback I get from my clients and my students, they're like, can you go back and repeat? So if I over repeat, just move forward on the on this video, because this is for you to understand and to do it yourself. If you want someone like me, a professional astrologer, to look at it, just hop onto our website, holistichealingastrology.com, and schedule a consultation. The more time you spend with an astrologer, the more impactful it is. That's why we structure it with times. So the more hours you have to work on your chart, the better it is. Okay. And there's a little bit of a break for you too, and get you on my calendar. So let's take a look here. We're going to start with Pluto. Pluto's the leading planet of this grand trine. So Pluto is 28 degrees right here, 28 degrees Capricorn, but it's retrograde. So remember, retrograde means to go in. It's a reflective period. It's a time to review. And, if you haven't been living under a rock, you could see what is going on with governments around the world, big businesses around the world, big corporation. That's all in the forefront. And we're in 28 degrees of Pluto, which is a critical degree, and it's retrograde. So it's making the whole world stop and think. We're coming into some irreversible changes. Pluto is irreversible changes. It's also transformation. It's intense, and it could be uncomfortable. And it's not quick moving. It's slow moving changes. All right. So it's very impactful. But it's something that we need to let go of. So that's the first planet that is involved in this big grand trine. So what does a trine mean? Well, if you look and see, a trine is where there's a flow. It's effortless. So this Pluto intense energy. Think of it like a fire hose or that waterfall in Niagara Falls. Very intense, you know, it's powerful. That's flowing right into the new moon in Virgo. So we have earth sign here, mutable. Actually, this is sorry, misspoke. Earth sign mutable here, but this is earth sign cardinal, right? But it's an earth sign. So earth signs are fixed. They don't like change. And this is all about change when it has to do with service, skills, jobs. All right. These are some key words. If you want to get the appropriate keywords that work for you, then you have to do the research. Or if you haven't signed up for the book that's being launched soon, it's in the publishing world right now to get it published, send me an email or a text and I'll get you on the list so you'll be the first one to get notified. So it will be published on demand, which will make it very simple for you guys to get. You don't have to go to a certain store. You don't have to go to Amazon. You just click on the link and you will get it straight from the publisher. So as we see here, there's a flow of energy. That's that grand trine. But then this new moon energy, which has to do with jobs, services, skills, everyday habits, hygiene, health, okay? So we could find our health changing again. Irreversible changes. And I'm not going to get political and I'm not going to talk about things outside of astrology right now. So here we have another trine, another flow, another ease of energy going to Taurus, Uranus in Taurus right here, which is retrograde, and Jupiter in Taurus, 15 degrees, which is retrograde too, another earth sign, which is fixed, okay? So it's an earth sign that has to do with earthly stuff, possessions, what you want to accumulate, your money, your finances. So Jupiter is the expanding, let's make it bigger, let's manifest, let's make it bigger. But Uranus has to do with the future, technology, let's make it let's make it futuristic. So this is all a big thrust in this area. So if you haven't noticed, you know, banking is all online. This is Uranus, Taurus, finances online. So maybe people are rethinking, because just the other day, my device, you know, that the credit card reader didn't work most of the day. Yep. And the cash apps weren't working most of the day. So, you know, that was the influence, and it had to do with the Mercury retrograde. But see, they all kind of work together, you know? So, because Mercury here flowed right into this energy. So it wasn't a bad thing, because the next day we were able to get our money, but there may be a time when we won't. So then, so the Uranus and the Jupiter energies, which is Jupiter also has to do with ethics, values, morals, religion, the big picture, foreign culture. And that goes again to Pluto. So they're all working together as a unit, and it keeps circling around. So let's get to the kite, because the kite includes this opposition, which is a tug of war. It is a time where we have to find balance. It also could be difficult, and it could, be frustrating. And it could be hard to decide, because Neptune Neptune is the planet of spirituality. It also represents escapism. So what's under the umbrella of escapism? Film, theater, dance. What else? Music, drugs, alcohol. All right. Sleeping, meditating. It's all a form of escape. Okay. And when you're in that state of escape, then things could be confusing, cloudy. You're in a fog. It could feel very mysterious because it also rules the deep sea. And you know, how far deep does the sea go? Miles. All right. And it's not very strange that we would have an earthquake with this kind of configuration, because this is Earth. This is major change, irreversible change, and this is sudden and unexpected and grand, big. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I do get around to answering them. I do get notified. So if I'm in the area with good Wi-Fi and good internet, I respond quickly. So remember now that Neptune is also retrograde in 26 degrees Pisces. So let's pause for a moment on the Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is rulership. So Neptune rules Pisces. So that's a stronger influence. All right. It just magnifies and amplifies that escapist type of energy, that confusing kind of energy during this new moon. All right. So it's a very confusing time. And it's a very reflective time. It's like, whoa, what do I do? So it kind of makes everybody freeze and don't do anything. So if you have important projects, I would recommend that you kind of hold off, because when you get this many retrogrades in one day, you got to be careful. So to break it down, what's retrograde that is changing is the Mercury, but the Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, and Pluto, they're more slow moving outer planets. So they have a longer term effect. Okay. So there's a lot going on with this new moon. So remember, take out your chart and see what signs are, what planets and points are between the numbers 19 to 23 in an earth sign or in a mutable sign. Okay. If it's an earth sign, that means there's going to be a flow of energy to all those points and places. If it is a mutable sign, that means it's going to be a square or an opposition, which will be very challenging and difficult. And so then you want to look at what sign it's in and what house it's in, and if there are any other planets with aspects involved in that. So you see now, the world of an astrologer is a very tedious world, a very complex world. And what we do is we don't read books, we don't read balance sheets, we read charts. That's what we do most of the day. We're reading charts. And a good astrologer will only do so many sessions in a particular day because they got to recoup. You got to be fresh because you might miss something. Okay. So the last thing about the planets that we want to look at, we covered the kite. You know, there's opportunities between these great sudden and unexpected earthly changes that deal with possessions. And you may make these changes internally but there's going to be an opportunity, and maybe a spiritual opportunity, or an opportunity to just go into a meditative state. But this transformational energy of irreversible changes, this intensity in business, corporations, if there are mandates from your job, it's going to affect your spirituality and your creativity, all that Neptune kind of energy. So, but this also, sextiles also are involved with mental attitudes, skills. So there might be some skills that will develop because of these energies working together. So how do you know which is correct? Only you know, because it's your chart, and how it relates to you is very personal. A good astrologer will ask you questions. We don't dictate to tell you, yeah, you're doomed, you're in trouble. That's unethical practice. All right. So the Mercury retrograde, let's talk about Mercury right here. So Mercury on the 14th of this new moon day is still retrograde in Virgo, 8 degrees. But it's been in Virgo for a few days now, and I could go backwards. Let's go backwards a day. I think it's, yeah. So from the 12th, Mercury has been in 8 degrees, and then it will continue on the 15th and become go direct, but it's still 8 degrees. So that's considered a station when it's in the same degree, the same spot. And it stays in 8 degrees for a couple of more, 3 or 4 more days till the 18th. Okay. So that's from the 12th to the 18th. That's almost 1 week that Mercury is in the same degree. So if you have anything in your natal chart that is 8 degrees Virgo, so let's say 6 to 10 degrees Virgo, whoa, when it comes to communication. So you're going to see, how does that affect you? If it's hitting on a Mars, watch out for tempers and, harsh language. If it's in Venus, there might be some money communication or even romantic communication. So you blend those energies together. I hope that you have learned something from this YouTube. It's taken me a great deal of investigating and research to come up with this this whole scenario here. And I hope you understand now how complex astrology is. But if you break it down to small pieces, you could learn so much about the new moon and how it affects you personally. So that's a good time on the 14th to do your new moon ritual. You could put your crystals outside with the new moon. You could do all new things. Create in your journal, your new moon journal, your intentions for the next month to 6 months, or for your future, especially in the area of any earthly energies, whether it has to do with business, which is money, finances, business, and skills, job, service. Okay. Because it's an Earth grand trine that we're involved with. So write the comments below if you have any comments. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you consider subscribing, and follow us on TikTok, Instagram. And if you haven't checked out our website to see the services that we provide, it's holistichealingastrology.com. I'm Ev Zerverdakis, and it was my pleasure to help you understand this new moon in Virgo. Love you and all the best, my friends.